Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Team Fortress TV. For you tonight, we have the ultimate game of Low in Season 40 of ETF2L, sponsored by Manco.store. We've got Ado versus MedDiff, all battling for that first place finish in this Low division. Joining me is going to be the unsung hero of production. It's going to be White, followed by Beta on the mic with me. How is it going, Beta?
Oh, it's going really well here, Meer. This is TF2 Christmas, right? It's coming up at Christmas time. We got all the grand finals lined up, and we just get to watch a bunch of sweaty nerds fight it out to see who the best TF2 players are in each division. I can't think of a better way to spend Christmas.
I mean, who gives a damn about family? You know, you've got 4 days of grand finals, rounding off season 40. I don't know what's more exciting than that. Perhaps
Exactly.
more than a stocking underneath the Christmas tree, but we'll let that by the by. So both of these teams had a pretty reasonable finish. I believe they're first and third seeds in the low div during the main season, and obviously climbed their way up the opposite end of the brackets, and both managed to land themselves a spot here. So I suppose we can have a quick rundown of the rosters.
Sure, I'll go with the Den Haag, which has Jot on Scout. I think he's roaming Scout, and then Sax on Pocket Scout. Goes on Roamer, Not Steven on Pockets, Kento or Sento on Demo Man, and then Samuel on Medic. And do you want to do MedDiff?
Of course, yes. On MedDiff, we've got Dave on the flank scout. Pocket Scout's going to be Natty Newt, Lacurio on the Roamer. Pocket Soldier's going to be Gold, Sibab, Demo Man, and Medic finally is going to be a Merc, Eddie stepping in. So we are going to kick off on Sunshine. This is Season 40, Low Grand Finals, Ado versus MedDiff. Ado in the blue, MedDiff in the red. And we are kicking off this first mid. A pretty fast rollout from Steven here, getting into his own valley. A pretty slow mid from MedDiff as it appears, allowing Ado to get a good little bit of position there. But an early bomb from Slow-Mo Milk gets completely thwarted by the scouts. And we do see Lacurio coming out from the cafe, managing to kill the medic. That's really going to serve them well at the start of this mid, as Ado are just sort of scrabbling, just trying to convert as many frags as they possibly can. But their health really not looking great, and they just cannot consolidate around any of their players.
He's up to some tricks. I think he wants to just go in here.
Oh no, the sticky got shot!
Oh, it's so big. At least he gets a scout for it, but that was pretty great.
I mean, that was quite an impressive shot from that scout, to be fair, across the point, that low angle. Fair play to him, fair play to him. Honestly. Completely embarrasses Steven just a little bit there, but MedDiff now just locking out this second point. They've got an 80% Uber advantage, and 2 players down from Ado. It's sort of ripe for the plucking here as MedDiff want to go straight to last, but Dave going down to the sniper of Zax is not going to help matters.
Yeah, gonna try to take down the center gun. They're actually pretty slow about it. Like, look how far out they are. They just don't want to even get in there. They don't want to get like their hands in the bee's nest, and they are out. And there's a repush coming in here. Gets juggled about quite a bit, but everyone else has made it out pretty cleanly. And just as I say that, Steven goes down. Medic is in super deep. Samuel gets launched into the enemy team. They get taken down. This repush has gone horrifying.
Their health really not looking great for Ado either, and with 13 seconds spawn on their medic, a 60% advantage in the hands of MedDiff, it looks like they're not even too contented with waiting around for it. Their damage just proving good, able to play that point, making Ado scrabble to get on this cap. A nice pickaxe kill from Gurgosh onto Gold. They're managing to convert a couple frags here. Which way will it go? The medic has spawned in Samael. This could potentially be disastrous for MedDiff as they lose their final player. That was an impressive blunder.
Yeah, I can't believe they actually ended up holding that. Samuel, not Steven, just somehow like managing to get in there, get heals out and not dying. That was very surprising to me. I was sure that was going to end in disaster, but somehow, like, maybe that's just nerves coming in here from both teams, because this is the grand final. This is the first couple of minutes in. Like, we're only 3 minutes in, not even that. And that was a bunch of really big mistakes and bad pushes coming in. So maybe that's just out of their systems now. They get to build some Uber. It's pretty big ask to push on this Uber advantage here, but they might just decide to go for it anyway. But this is a very difficult push, but they're going to go for it. I like this.
Yeah, this is what we need to see. We need some impressive push-outs. You know, we don't want to see anyone waiting around doing niche. But Gold does try and get a nice early sack on the medic. Does a decent chunk of damage, but doesn't get the force off. And both soldiers from MedDiff going down. Managing to get their medic out, so they're not going to be too far away from this Uber charge now as Ado cap this
Oh,
mid out.
Milk's
But
in.
slow-mo Milk going for a play on the medic. Oh, the rebomb and
gets
does
the
get the
pop.
force. Wow.
How? Wait, what? Why'd
It's
he
the
pop?
nerves, Peter. It's the nerves.
It really must be, man. That was... He was on, like, 80 health or something, and the
I don't
soldier
think
was
he had
really
a
high
rocket
up.
loaded even. Oh, Cow Pop coming out of Ado now, and Meddiv make themselves pretty scarce besides Gold, who manages to pick up Steven at the apex of that fight, pulling the players back, so buying a little bit of time for his team as the cap does not progress from Ado, and they can sort of consolidate themselves on last, get some defenses going, but it appears they want quite an aggressive stature in this lobby still, in spite of what they could potentially be facing here.
Yeah, they're just trying to build up right now. We see Natty is on Sniper. Switches off just as I say that. There's a slight advantage, but this is again one of those situations where it's very difficult to push off of. Like pushing out of last is very difficult, and when you have this kind of marginal Uber advantage, it's probably almost impossible to get to the enemy medic. You can see Samuel's in a really good position. He's holding very far back until he's got the build around. So like I like that you can see from the positioning that they're really thinking about it. So that's good. So we are just settling in now for a good old game of how do you break this stalemate.
It looks like Ado having a little bit of a crack, just trying to pressure out this left side, but there's 4 players there just ready to receive them, and that heavy could prove to be quite a menace coupled with that Uber charge as well. It looks like Gurgosh wanted to go for a little bit of a sack there, but gets caught out by the gun erected by Dave. So counter sack now coming out from Meddiff, but the stick is above the door. Cut that pretty short there with Licurio suffering victim to that 16-second spawn wave, and Natty Newt just trying to get some redemption, trying to snipe in lobby, just trying to get a pick, but you're going to need more than just a pick if you want to sort of troll your way out of this last.
Yeah, I do like that he actually just went for the very quick suicide. And, you know, sometimes the demo doesn't get you and you actually get in for free, right? And when you want to die in these kind of repos, you want to die fast because it's very, very difficult to punish you for it. Slow motion Milk, he's going to go in there, see if he can get the sniper to back off. He does get that. Doesn't get a kill or anything, but just pressures him out. Make sure that his medic can walk in safe without getting sniped. So we are back now, and Natty is just checking classes in spawn. There will be no off classes. Oh, right, it's a heavy, yeah. That's I just saw like, oh, a heavy on last, that's normal, right?
But yeah, it looks like potentially they want to just go in for the trade and then just try and battle their way in with this heavy, but they go in for another sack and a full charge body shot from Dave. Cuts it pretty short for slow motion Milk once again, and we've just got a sort of a war of a vibration, but Gold actually does manage to get the force out from Samael, and they're just going to try and pile in on this top right, but they've got a full Uber advantage to deal with on the med diff side. And this could potentially be an opening for them to sort of start pressuring their way out here. But again, with one player down and the sort of positioning now of Ado, it could be a little bit of a challenge.
Milk has gone for the spy. I like this. This is a very good opportunity to either get the medic or just sneak in and go for the back cap. Oh, he's bumping into him so hard.
Oh no.
Yeah, okay, they know, and they got him. Well done there. Sometimes that just happens on spy, so that's really nice here. They know that being back capped is almost impossible, especially now that they see the heavy. Like, you know you're very unlikely to be back capped, so really great stuff here. I'd say heavy overextending gets just cut down very quickly here in a 2-on-1.
Yeah, it looks like he was sort of just trying to play to buy time, but Samael is left on his own.
Eating your pills is not a good thing in TF2 sometimes. You want to not do that. That's a drop for Eddie, poor guy. Now we have a full Uber advantage coming the other way. Sax is in so deep, just gets onto this demo man, gets taken down. And then there's only this one soldier back here, but I don't think he can do anything to really slow this down.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum potential here for Ado, but they're really, really slow to get on that cap. Zach's just aggressing a little bit too far forward, and the Smiths now came up from Meddiff. Ado, they're just going to have to consolidate on this second point, get their Uber charge, just heal up, and use their 80% Uber advantage as best as they can. They blundered it last time, but with credit to the red sniper, really. So we'll have to see if this is slightly more successful. But they're not waiting for their spawners, they're just going straight in. Licurio gets a nice early force out. The Sticky still very much present on this point, and they're piling trying to get what they can. The Heavy finally going down, and not a lot of health on the side of Ado or Meddiff.
It's a lot of pressure, but just not enough on this side. It's really just a matter of can Samael actually get out in time. There's a lot of pressure coming in here. Gergo's trying his best. Oh, he's getting bounced around. He's actually not being healed. Yeah, Medic just left him, so I don't know. I kind of weird that, yeah, that Samael just didn't heal his soldier at all, but I mean, I guess he got out, so I shouldn't judge him too harshly, but I kind of feel like both soldier and Medic could have made it out there, but oh well, you got the important one out. And it's actually an Uber advantage, but again, pretty difficult to push on. Sunshine is a pretty long map where like you can kite Ubers very effectively, and if you just look at what kind of distance you have to cover before you get onto the Medic, you can see that it's kind of a lot of distance, but hey, they might just still try to go for it. If you jump in the demo man, you can absolutely just cut off them. You saw the Elico Ubers kind of getting... Oh, is this it? Kind of. Yeah, he's in. He's
oh, the Medic is so weak. Is he going to crater on Balk? He does.
Oh, he does.
That's pretty good from Steven. A really good initiation to that fight. Samael potentially caught out by Sibab, but does just manage to slip away. So it's all a bit of a momentum game now, but the help on the Edo players not looking too good, and they cannot kill. Natty Newt eventually does fall to the scattergun of Zac. So at the very least, that has stunted Edo's momentum just a little bit, and MedDiff going to have a little bit of a chance on this last with their spawners now coming out of that door, and Edo going to have to run for the hills.
Good decision not to go in there. It's very tempting, because you do have the heal advantage and get a bit of positioning on them, but like there's just so many people just coming out of those spawn doors that if you're holding down tab, you will see just how dangerous it is. So Natty Newt, he's on spy. He needs to be very quick. Samael's just about to have his Uber. Oh, he gets it in time. He gets a second one in there. He's still alive, by the way. He's just doing work. This is a crunch.
You can switch off here as well. It's just Yacht left alive from Ado, and he is just going to have to make himself pretty scarce. MedDiff's eyes are quite firmly on him, as they are just going to lock out their second point. Still a 0-0 game, 10 minutes in beta, so again, we've seen a lot of momentum back and forth, which is obviously what we like to see, but neither team is seemingly able to close out a round just yet.
Yeah, you're allowed to cap last, but right now it just seems like it's completely impossible without getting dropped. Have like someone get sniped, have someone get backstabbed, or just not be able to get in there in time. So the last holds, at the very least, are working out very well for both teams, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. As long as there's a bunch of action going on, I don't really care where it takes place. Scout overextends quite a bit. Soda's in as well. Gergos will actually end up killing himself, so it is still even coming in here. So it might be an awkward push coming in, because whenever you're a lot of players down, pushing becomes much more, I don't know, uncomfortable for you, because you can't watch every entrance. But hey, there's no one going behind, it looks like, so they will actually do a very clean push in here. And I wonder if they're going to keep going, see if they can just get more and more space to come in here and see if they can maybe send us.
Yeah, MedDiff really keen to just like brunt it out and build their Uber charge. They had a chance of holding that last. They were like 20% behind, so now they've tied it into an equal Uber situation, and obviously we've seen them in this pos before, and they've been able to stun Ado's pushes in this position. Last time, of course, managed to get a couple pretty nice headshots and managed to sort of seal them and send them off. So a bit of a war of attrition on this last. Some spam at going back and forth as Ado sort of count their chickens, see how they want to approach us. That's a huge bomb from Gergosh. Oh my god, and the drop!
Oh wow.
Wow, that was incredible. The sentry gun did him some real big favours there. Gergosh throwing his body on the line, and it comes good. They lose 3 players, but they've got a full Uber advantage. They've got to be sure that they don't get caught out here, but it looks like they will as Samael gets head rocketed by Gold. They're forced to use that Uber charge, and now they're just going to try and convert as many frags as they want and try and put the sort of themselves back in the driving seat. Ado here.
Dave needs to hit all the shots. Oh my god, this sentry gun is just murdering everyone. Oh, getting the medic with a sentry gun. That's pretty rare that you see that. So kind of panicking there, just getting a bit too overexcited, going all the way in, getting killed. And we have another failed last push. Like, I don't know. This last push must be haunted, because medic can just not stay alive.
It seems to be a little bit of a battle of the beefs here. It's just who's gonna miss the most shots, you know, who's gonna have the most blunders, who's going to fall victim to, you know, sort of a janky off class, but it always seems to swing the defending team's way here. So MedDiff, with their 2-player advantage, just going to try and take this space on mid pretty comfortably so as well. But a little bit of a battle going on in Cafe. Slow Motion Milk ultimately coming out on top, which is, again, just going to slow down MedDiff just a little bit, as they are pretty close to the supercharge now.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any shenanigans. They actually managed to build it almost exactly at the same time. And, okay, I thought we were about to see Zip-Up Swap just jump in there with the, you know, I call it the Ellico Uber. It's when you put down like 4 stickies or something and you just put yourself into the skybox with an Uber. And just sticky off medics and everyone else trying to get out. It's pretty much the only way you can actually lock people out in time because of how big the map is. But you obviously need to do that on an Uber advantage or something like that, because otherwise it makes no sense. Okay, we've got the double Soda Bomb in, and they are in very effective.
Oh, they're so healthy, and another drop. And Gurgosh going down as well to gold. That's a really impressive bomb. They just didn't take any damage at all in the air, and they hit the ground, and they were just ready for war, and they just completely crunched that defense there. So making it a lot easier for their team, in spite of the 2 soldiers being down and the full Uber advantage in hand, of course.
Yep, Soldier even being cleaned up here behind lines, so can't even cause any trouble here. This is looking very solid. Sax is on Sniper. We've seen people do miracles on Sniper before on these last holds, but this is a big ask to get that medic. You basically have to get the medic, right? You can also get like a scout or a soldier or something else peeking in, but looks like they're playing it smart here. Eddie's just rallying his troop, getting them all buffed up, and looks like they're about to go in here with the demo man.
Yeah, they try and get a fast Uber out, but Sabab hits his head, going down pretty early. They've really got to focus on converting these frags as early as possible, as Ado sort of clump up over this left-hand side of point, but not too many coming in. Ooh, they are losing a lot of numbers, though. And I think this might be it. Signed and sealed, finally. We've seen a successful last push, Peter.
Just took 15 minutes to get them going. Exactly. That's fine. Yeah. It just took... Like, that was a pretty clean push, right? Like, they didn't drop anyone on entry. They got the sentry gun down quick, then they got the heavy pick, and then they just won the preceding fight. Or the preceding... or whatever. The following fight.
So yes, we've got our second mid-fight in full swing. They're sort of mirroring each other, but we do see the double ones coming out of Ado. Eddie completely lofted at the start here, and everyone's sort of infatuated with these soldiers that have gone behind, but they're not able to do an awful lot, as all the players from Ado in front just get absolutely crunched. Again, it's just Steven sort of left in the aftermath of that mid, and he just wants to try and get out and support his team on this last, as MedDiff just want to roll this momentum forward. They've got a full Uber advantage. They've got 6 players up, and they've got yet another round in their sights. Is this the start of some momentum here?
You know, sometimes you see games where it takes a very long time for it to really enter action mode, but then after that it just starts rolling, and they're in again, very quick to kill onto the center gun. Not really anything else, but there's a lot of time on the point, as the scout will go down, but now people have been pulled onto the point, but it looks like it's just not quite enough. Samuel does go down, so that's a saving grace, but otherwise this push actually didn't work at all. Yeah,
what it seems to me at least is the Easy was being used super duper early, and Ado are just on the opposite side of that last, and they just can't close the distance in time, and not only can they not close the distance, but they can't give it the frags they need to. And I think that probably can be credit as to why these pushes aren't working. You know, I can understand why these Ubers super early, because of the amount of drops we've seen in this game, but it's just not the game plan, as we see Slow-Mo slam his head into a wall and have a little bit of a rethink about that bomb.
Yeah, so, like, obviously when you've dropped a bunch of players before you use Uber, it makes sense to use Uber early, but that's not enough. You need to also probably get in faster. Like, even if that means Ubering in more players or something like that to just get them in deeper faster, and then you have a shorter Uber, maybe that's still working. Maybe you put 2 scouts on the point, something like that. So there's still plenty of time for them to work. That's just going to Uber in very aggressively. Samuel does not have his Uber yet, but he is in a pretty good position to get out. Unfortunately, Gagos cannot have the same thing set for him, as he will go down. But now Samael, he's going to have the full Uber, and they're getting ready to push out. I think they're just waiting for the ghost to respawn, and then they're going to go.
We do see a player behind those. Slow-mo Milk is looking to cause a little bit of a ruckus, but this could potentially backfire here, as obviously that means they are 2 players down on this last, but he does get picked off by the flank duo of DIFF in that valley area. Dropping the question marks a little bit BM, guys. It is. Come on.
Yeah, Dave has done nothing but drop question marks. I like it. You can just project anything onto it. So if you're an insecure TF2 player, you're gonna get really mad because
oh, no, we've got a backup. Oh, Dave, really tight there, but there were 2 players there ready to receive him, but does sort of blunder.
Skybox gets taken down by Natty. This is a good job, and now comes the counter Uber coming out here, trying to see if they can chase anyone down. Not really successful here, so now Ubers have kind of equalized. They're not really able to get in. The last setup has not really been reached yet, but looks like they don't want to test this, so they're going to sit back, build their Uber, and then maybe push off of that. I don't know. It's pretty questionable, but they might just set up... this is why I would go banner or something, because when you have Uber, you can push out pretty aggressively, you can get a bunch of damage done, and then you can go back and you'll have a bunch of banners and Ubers. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah, particularly with how long even the pushes have been taking, how short drawn out the team fights have been at times, particularly on last. But looks like Ado want to do a little bit something with their 15% Uber charge. It's going to be really tight, but the medic is just with this scout there, so they are trying to take as much position as possible. 3 players from DIFF going down. Dave trying to slip his way into last, but has been well spotted as Ado are firmly on this cap. DIFF managing to back out to mid. Medic on full Uber advantage now, but 3 players down isn't going to be too helpful.
Yeah, it's always awkward when you have Uber but you don't have a lot of players. Oh, Soda gets absolutely destroyed. Oh, they pop very early. I don't know how Ghost keeps getting pops out of these things. I really feel like Eddie is way too trigger happy. He could have held on to the Uber very easily. Soda's going to jump in here, try and see if he can get something, but another nice little short air pipe there coming out from Swab, and then got a second cap coming out for sure. There's going to be some respawners, but there's not going to be here until 3 seconds, so if they're just in fast enough, they can just keep like 5v3ing them.
Oh, they're playing the point straight away, but 3 at a time is not quite the way to go. The spawners come out and do a big old chunk of damage, but the cap time's really good, leaving only Eddie alive, though. For DIFF, he's just going to have to run for his life, try and meet a spawner, which he should be receiving in pretty due course, but they're in hot pursuit of him, and it looks like this might be the end.
Yep, another dead push.
There we go.
That's so bad. Like, dying that late is just the worst thing you can do as a medic. Oh, they're actually not even going for the medic here.
They got the force.
There you go. Sometimes not going for the medic will get the medic to pop. It's just a lot of damage coming out from the soldiers. Yeah. And somehow Gold survived as well. I don't understand how he got out, but he did it. Oh, but Demoman is way too aggressive there. Same as Swab. So far forward. Gets taken down immediately, and now it's just going to be another excellent situation here for Samael and company. They can take so much space if they want to.
Yeah, and they've got to start thinking about it at this stage in the game with the sort of pace you've been looking at. 9 minutes remaining, and they're 1 round down. They've got to sort of try and make something happen, but yet another double bomb from these red soldiers. They do it so often, and it always seems to yield pretty good results for them. And losing 1 player, managing to get Steven and Samael, the demo man, the medic, it's not quite what they want. So DIFF going to be able to take this mid pretty comfortably with their heal and player advantage, and you're just trying to feel out, see if there's potential for a play, but decides otherwise.
The control point is being contested.
Yep. This, actually, Sabreswap might get taken down. Then Haag losing that demo man again. This is so annoying. These soldiers are definitely very good at just trading their lives, but there's a lot of chaos going on right now, and this is looking like this mid might not even fall.
Wow. It seemed that it was sort of just handed to them, but not a lot of cohesion in terms of like how aggressive they wanted to be, locking out chokes, and they just lost players, a couple of players 1 at a time, and it just sort of wrote it off with them. And off the back of that, not only have they failed to secure mid, but second have also completely slipped out of their hands. So it's going to be yet another last hold, which Ado obviously want at this point, being 1 round down. They've got to really hope that they can sort of pull it off this time and try and just disassemble MedDiff's defense here, as they're just trying to draw Scrabble, get some defenses up. They've got the Spy and they've got the Engineer hoping to make a little something happen, but Spy might just be checking for the off classes.
Yeah, he hasn't moved out of spawn yet, but hey, we're just gonna get an Uber exchange. Interesting.
Interesting. The Spy is still class checking during the Uber trade.
Yeah,
But
only
yeah,
casualty there is the center gun, but they're actually just gonna rotate and try to even go onto the other side, see if they can catch out a soldier. Kinda, almost. Like Gruyo got pressured quite a bit, but survived, so that's really good by him. And oh my god, everyone's just getting picked off here, so just excellent defense right now from that.
Yeah, looked like a bit of a lapse in discipline from Ado there. They just commit across, sort of discoordinated, just not at the right times, and they just got quickly swept up by the MedDiff players that are just playing that high ground just a little bit better. And as a result, they have been able to push out of Laz pretty cleanly, getting that second cap over the line. A pretty tight Uber situation going on right now as well. So again, I think we might be seeing a very similar trade situation, another war of attrition, and I can't wait to see another one of these fangled Uber trades in which 12 players are alive at the end of them.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you do just have to do Uber exchanges, right? Because things happen, and I'd say there's like a 45% chance that it works, but those are okay odds, right? And you just have to do enough.
Ooh, Gosh bombs. Oh, gets a rocket on the medic, but it's not going to be enough, taking Eddie down to 64 HP and no potential for a follow-up from his remaining teammates. So Gold seemingly lining up a counter bomb or potentially Lucurio, but it does get thwarted by Yacht there. So Gogosh spawning now in 1 second should put us in a very similar situation to what we saw perhaps 20 seconds ago.
Oh, small difference there. He's coming back as Spy.
Ooh.
So, I don't know if he's gonna... Is he actually gonna... he's friendly scout, so not really. You know, you sometimes you see people disguised as
Oh no,
snipers.
he ate a stick. They might have seen him.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. They're not shooting at him. But don't fall for the trap of taking the medkit. Don't do it. There goes. Don't do it. Alright, he's in pretty good position now. He just needs a distraction and he's gold.
Look how tight all those players are around the medic. They've really got to have a bit of a gauze on. They've got to know exactly what's going on. The scout is checking behind quite frequently here, so they might have a little bit of an inkling that Spy's active. And there we go. Gets completely caught out as Zax goes down also on that flank side. Pretty unfortunate that he just ate that sticky pretty early on, or maybe they just had a bit of an inkling he was on Spy, but Gogosh's play not quite coming good.
Yeah, Nadinu just had that completely under control. He checked the entire time. So, great play by him. Actually, a lot of players going down now. Slow motion milk going down is a really big deal. Everyone else is just going to have to go out here or use Uber. And looks like they're actually going to opt for the use Uber strat here. And they will get the counter Uber coming out, but the Uber is so much better for Eddie. So, you know, med difference indeed. They have so much better Uber to work with.
Yeah, it's something you see a lot where you know that a team's caught out and they're in a position where they're 100% going to have to use Uber charge in a situation, yet they still sort of start like waddling their way back to their own choke as if they're going to be able to get out, instead of just like saying, okay, let's just be proactive with it, let's just make the most of a bad situation. And because they do that backpedaling, it just always ends up with them in the mud and the enemy team just having a significantly better Uber charge. But we're seeing it pretty tied up here on the Uber charge front. MedDiff staring down the barrels of Ado's last as they just try and get their off classes up. Zax is going to try and get a sniper play in lobby potentially here, but we're just going to see how they want to try and disassemble this. But MedDiff, obviously with 3.5 minutes left, are in a pretty game-winning position here if they just want to draw this out.
Yeah, they could just do a whole bunch of nothing. Like, they could just treat this like a last hold almost, right? Where they're just defending. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of confused with Dave. Like, I would say go heavy or something weird like that, right? Like, put a heavy up on that. Like, wouldn't that just be dirty? Up on the high ground?
Pure filth. Pure filth. Yeah, Gogosh. Oh, he gets spotted again. I think he's not going to risk it. I think he's just going to sort of make his way back to last. Of course, the advantage of that is that they still think you have a spy when you switch off, or maybe they have a sort of an inkling that you're still on spy. So not too bad for them. Dave is on this sniper, so he's going to try and get a nice pick in this lobby area. But Slow Motion Monk definitely in position to get picked off potentially. Should a med diff identify that, but again, they're just taking it nice and slowly. They don't want to take any risks here because they know they can close this map out.
Yeah, like, it's not going to be very long until Ado just have to push. Like, you can't play engineer and push like this. Or at the very least, you can't play for very long. You have to switch off at some point and just go all in. Like, I don't mind there being an NT once the Ubers are still in play, but, like, you have to find a way. Usually by going up the stairs. Lower, actually, they're just going to Uber out through this door very aggressively. Alright, they're in very deep, but they need to get out. Actually, they get the demo man. That's really good. Might lose the medic in the process, though. Oh, he gets the med kit. This has actually worked out really well. So, alright, there we go. Now comes the repush. Gold has gone down. Scouts up on the Tiger and being pushed back. But now the engineer is just really biting them in the ass because he is just not contributing.
They still got their sentry gun on last. The Curio takes a big old chunk of damage, is 14 HP on the last point, but you can't afford to leave this engineer here. It's a game of momentum. You've got a minute 30 to go from your last to theirs. You cannot afford to be slouching about on your last point. You've just got to get up and go. So 3 players from the side Ado are on this midpoint now. Meddiff just sort of backing up, just trying to play for insurance, really. Just try and keep their players alive, try and keep their medic alive, keep that Uber just building and ticking over, and they just want to drag it out for an extra minute now. So Ado have a minute to try and close this one out. They are just 5% away from the supercharge, and they're going to have to use it pretty rapid here.
Oh, there's an Uber drop, though. That might
hate to see it.
The nail in the coffin here. Gold taking down 2 players, 3 players on the flank. Give him a 4th. Oh, he doesn't get it, but that's a wipe. That's GG, man. Ooh, bad luck.
It was a pretty decent effort from Ado to try and just convert that the other way, but I think it just came sort of too little too late. And when you get those itchy feet and when you're forced to make those rapid decisions, that's when the coordination slips, that's when the nerves set in, and that's when sort of the game just slips out of your hands more rapidly than it did in the first sort of 28 minutes. So pretty impressive performance either way, and they've managed to keep it pretty tight, which you won't be too demoralized going into map 2 and potentially 3 here.
Yeah, this is pretty close. This is pretty close. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, and gold.
2-0. Alright,
Yeah,
okay. I don't think anyone really counts that last round. Who cares,
No.
right? Like, that's not something you get upset about. Like, you knew it was all lost.
Exactly. There's no concede rule anymore. People are quite contented with just letting it slide out of their hands. There's no tiebreakers. There's only pride on the line, and these teams know what they're up against and they know what they're able to put out. So we'll have to see what they can do in the second map. But before the second map, shall we have a little peeper at these logs, Peter?
Sure thing. And like, actually, the first thing I want to see are the medic. How many drops did they have used? I feel like they had a bunch. Yeah, 3 and 2. So Samael had 3 drops and Eddie had 2. So that's quite a bit. And we saw how that impacted their last pushes. And it was a low-scoring game for that reason. But obviously, you always look at damage first, right? And it was Gold the roamer? Let me check if he was. No, he wasn't, but still, had a good game.
Yeah, a pretty low death game considering how back and forth it was. You could just see like teams were bailing on the team fight super duper early because they just wanted to play around their medics. But as much as they wanted to play around their medics, that didn't prevent the sort of number of deaths and drops we saw, and advantages slip out of the team's hands here. And you can see by the damage pretty low across the board as well, just because it was just they were just peppering each other on last. It was just a complete war of attrition. But yeah, pretty impressive stats coming out of Gold, Newt, and Sabab there, and you can contribute that to a lot of momentum that they managed to garner in that first map there. So going into map 2 is going to be Metalwork, which I believe is Ado's pick. So might be a little bit of a potential for them to sort of start or mount a comeback, get some momentum going in their favor.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder because Metalworks is a pretty new map, and I know you noticed, like, you looked at how long these guys have played. So, like, how much experience do these guys have? Like, are these guys that have just been hanging out low for a long time, or are these like new players that maybe don't have that much experience with Metalworks?
Well, I mean, yeah. So we've seen this sort of Metalworks was introduced 3-4 seasons ago now, and it obviously wasn't included last season. Back in this one, um, a lot of new players, predominantly on the side of MedDiff. We got a couple more players on Ado with a bit more experience, but in terms of officials, they're pretty tied up. Ado have a cumulative 276 officials, whereas MedDiff have 286. So if you want to make that
That's
sort of
close.
10 official difference is a big experience gap, then I think you got to be looking at MedDiff, particularly after that first map performance.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting because I noticed that all the maps for this grand finals are like the slow maps. Right, and Sunshine is pretty slow. Metalworks is probably the slowest one, but it's also a map that was out of the rotation for a very long time. I think it was like in season 22 it was cut, and then it didn't get back in until season 39 or 40. All right, yeah, it was a long gap, right? It might have been in there a
Our
couple of
brains
times.
can't even begin to remember beta.
Oh, it's been a while, is my point. So, like, it's always been around, and it's been played in America a lot, and like we've all played games on it, but have we played serious games on it and like map talked it and that kind of stuff? Maybe not, but I feel like it is a map that's been mostly figured out. Like if we see something revolutionary on Metalworks, I'd be very surprised. Like, but the question is, have these players accumulated enough experience to play it properly, right? And just play it like it's supposed to be played, because we kind of do know how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, I think you can really see the amount of effort that the teams put in there. Sort of those two respective game weeks of Metalworks. I think when you're playing with these newer maps and when it's particularly as a newer team, everyone's got a sort of different approach to things. So just getting the reps in, just putting as much work in the regular season as possible, just trying to up as many scrims as you possibly can, is probably a pretty good way to go through this. I'm obviously not sure how much these respective teams have played this map, but I think it's a pretty decent ground for upset here. And I must say, based on the last map, sort of the coordination, particularly between Lacurio and Gold on the side MedDiff with their double soldier bombs, I'd like to see a lot of that on this map, particularly with the sort of excitement of the alley area. So it should be a pretty good one. Any predictions coming into this one?
I honestly feel like it's just gonna come down to which medics are gonna drop Uber, or which medics are gonna get picked off by soldier bombs. So it really could go either way for me, because like I looked at the logs, and what I see is if you go down in kills, you can see it's 92 to 68 kills, which looks really bad, right? But that usually just means that the team with the higher kill numbers are actually the ones that are defending, and therefore they have higher kills. Right, so that just means that the team that have all the kills, they were actually on the back foot the entire time. So I don't feel like it was as clear cut as it might look with the 2-0 and way better stats. But we are live here on the second map, Law Grand Final, Season 40, powered by Manco something. What was Manpower? .store. Alright, thank you, VToof. I don't know these things. Alright, we're back on mid. What do you see here?
A pretty early high bomb here from Lacurio coming in with gold, but the medic backs up just about enough, avoiding a big old chunk of damage, losing only Steven at the start of that push. It's going to be a 4 versus 4, but a significant height advantage from MedDiff. The scouts really sort of leading the helm with this aggression, but what it has allowed is for the soldier to push into the red banana here, and they're going to have to back up.
It's a scout duel. Oh, it's not. Come on, Dave, do it. Go in there. It's scout ulti duel. We're doing this. Let's go.
Oh, Dave's got a decent chunk of damage, but they heal up so quickly, the pistol's not going to do an awful lot unless you've got quad damage.
Everything too. Oh, he hit it once.
Oh my god, they're going to have to rely on the spawners here. Oh, Samael leads a rocket as well, so the Ewa should come out pretty quickly from Ado should they choose to refight this, but it looks like they're going to write it off. They're going to say no, and MedDiff just going to set up on this second point, try and go through another battle with Ado as they want to sort of get this map started on the right foot, having lost the first one. So They just want to try and disassemble the second hold as best they can. It looks like they want to achieve that by going through alley.
Double soldier bomb looks like it's incoming right now. Here comes Slow-Mo Milk, and then Gargo's gonna be the real deal coming back in here. He's in way deep. He's actually made it in behind, but where's Eddie? They can't find him. And Gargos, he's actually still behind lines, but Eddie, he's just pushing with his team now. So taking down 2 players, including the demo man, not Steven. And so now they can just go in here, and they just have to deal with that soldier behind lines. Looks like Dave was able to do that just fine. And that was a thing.
Yeah, losing 3 players there from Ado and not really garnering anything, not even the force, not even any space really for their team. Just was not too fantastic. I think Natty and Dave just did a really excellent job of denying those 2 players there. So sort of flips the switch, puts them in a really good pause. Gold does bomb in, goes down in those shuttered doors to Zax.
Dave is behind still. He's going to sneak up on the medic here. Oh, he's in there. He's getting folks down. Not quite able to do it. 35 HP on Samael. Nice try here from Dave. If he had synced up with Gold, maybe could have done it better, but I think he just snuck in there, so maybe I'm just asking him to do things he couldn't physically do. Milk is in. Actually, that's going to be Ghost doing the first real jump. Ooh, misses the big air shot, but still.
Oh no, slow motion Milk is on Eddie in house alone. Gets the easiest force of his entire life and lives, backing into Meddiv's Valley, and he's back for more as Eddie's Uber fades. Now battling out with Gold, it does eventually go down, but he's done all the work he needs to. Ado managing to lock out this midpoint. They're going to get a forward spawner on second, Meddiff in Lucurio, but it's not going to come to any real fruition, and they're just going to have to get themselves set up on last. It's going to be a 30% Uber advantage to Ado, and they're going to look to put some numbers on this board.
They're going to have the tiniest of advantages here, but they might just decide to go off on momentum. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, who listens to me anyway? But yeah, they're just going to take it slow. How are they building this much faster? I don't understand. Did Eddie not build? Like, he was like 10% behind at some point.
Yeah, they're just beaming full health players on bridge, so not quite as conjunctive to sort of build a Uber as you would hope. So Ado have got themselves a 40% advantage. They're in super duper quickly here. Steven wraps around with Gurgosh. No stickies on the point. They can definitely look to play this, but a flash on Zax does slow their momentum down just a little bit here, and it's going to be a bit of a war of attrition as it's 4 vs 4 on this point. Not a lot of damage, and the bomb from Gurgosh coming across, and Meddiff just trying to get on this point as best they can, and seemingly working out as they managed to pick off just enough Ado players, leaving only Samael alive, and it looks like he might be easy pickings for these remaining scouts.
Yeah, you know, if this was Prem, I'd definitely tell him to kill himself, but in low, maybe you can get away with it, but yeah, it's very optimistic there, but another Uber advantage, not able to get the job done. It seems like they just need to get better at getting in on the team and doing more damage. It's like, I don't know. I realize that sounds like I'm saying, oh, they just need to get better, LOL. Just hit harder, LOL. Alright, let's get in there. Alright, we've got another push coming in here. Eddie has the Uber advantage, but obviously Ubers have not come into effect yet. So right now they're just buying space, and looks like they didn't like that real estate at all. They've just backed out completely, and I don't quite understand this. They were so aggressive and then they backed out. But now that they have the Uber advantage, they want to get in position. Looks like they might just be doing it to completely rotate around. If they do it in time, it's completely fine. Oh yeah, they did just rotate. Okay, that's fine.
They have got to contend with a few stickies there, but the Uber's coming out super duper quickly again. Slow-mo Milk just tries to get a nice little sync bomb by jumping out that wall. Doesn't quite achieve it. Converting 2 frags, that's better than we've seen. Of course, getting Samael down really, really critical in that. A little bit of a back cap going on. If they stack, this isn't going to even be a threat, but Dave's sort of a little bit hesitant. But the times they hopefully should seal that with Slow-mo Milk left in the dust. Zox trying to go for a little something as he flanks behind the combo, but they should know he's there. Gets a shot on Eddie, 2 shots. It's not quite enough.
No. Right now it just feels like they're feeding in a couple of players at a time, trying to be a hero. Eddie, he's just kind of surfacing around. He's I don't know, 80 to 50 health, and it's just completely fine. Slow motion tried to go in there, and he eventually gets taken down, so that's another bleeding player. Just bled out, no reason.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
Yeah, when we do see these players caught behind, it looks like they're not calling for any pressure at all. And speaking of pressure, we do see MedDiv Ubering straight in here. So many players from Ado congested around their spawn door. Samael so weak. There's no sticks on point. There's no pressure on point. This should be free season for MedDiv as they convert so many frags over the line. And they took that space pretty well. Ado were just completely condensed under that roof there, and just got swept up by the damage as they sort of rushed onto point as quickly as they could. And again, they've managed to pip this first round a bit quicker this time, only 7 minutes in.
Yeah, that's like twice as fast if my
That's
very
incredible.
rough math is good. So that's definitely an improvement. And all it took was a bunch of players feeding in while at an Uber dis ad, and then they could push it, right? With a full Uber ad, and they got it. So eventually, if you give them a big enough advantage, they will manage to capture this last point. Very aggressive mid onto not Steven, but he managed to actually win that duel against Courier. So looking very strong so far for MedDiv.
Yeah, the MedDiv sort of had a much better positioning at the start there, but it looks like they sort of weren't quite as coordinated as you would hope there, and they lose their medic pretty early on, and their players just get picked off one by one. You've got Dave in the backlines, but I can't imagine his impact will be formidable. There's not even going to be any spawners for him to go back and kill, so he's just a bit of a sort of entity there, as Steven is sort of just being a bit paranoid. But they sent 2 players back for him, so perhaps not as bad as you would hope.
No, that's I mean, yeah, that's a distraction at the very least. Right, and they do have this full Uber advantage, but you can see actually they're not even putting up a fight here on second. They just actually they're building on last. They're putting up a sentry and everything. So there's just literally no one on second. You can see slow motion build is like, where was everyone? He's just checking every corner, and yeah, it's gonna be that. So advantages go down, but
Yeah, so Ado 30% advantage now, staring down the barrel of a MedDiff's last. They have got that level 2 up. They've got Dave on the Pyro. Oh no, they're going to come through Banana, and the Pyro's there waiting. He's not got the beam though, so he goes down pretty quickly there. A couple of players launched across that point.
Up on the,
oh my god.
Do they realize?
Oh my god.
Oh, he kept one.
No, he hasn't taken a single point of damage yet. He does drop down eventually. Uber popped. That's incredible from Sabab. You can't teach that. That's a pretty formidable spot. Steven's
it
trying
is
to.
so funny. Yeah.
He's trying to sort of pussyfoot around here, but I think it might just end in a slightly lofted spawn timer for him and his team. So Ado, with their 5 players, look like they want to have a little bit of a look in on this second. They don't want to lose it.
There's a final second and Spire and last, and Gagos is just going for the back cap. He wants to win, and he needs to get on it quick. Oh, he didn't. Okay, he did uncloak in time, and that's that. Just made a beeline for it, got it, hits them with the bind. Well, let's say a bind. It's the question mark. There we go. That's going to be 1-1. They're coming back.
Yeah, it's all tied up here. We're rolling into our 3rd mid fight now. We should see a little bit of a shake-up, I would hope. We've seen Ado not quite able to get any early position, but just the damage they managed to get on MedDiff last time seemed to come pretty good for them, so we'll have to see if there's anything that gets shaped up this time. They're taking some nice position, Ado, around their crate, but they're taking a lot of damage in exchange for it there, and Eddie just playing in a super safe spot and giving up all the position are Ado as they just want to back out straight away through their lower.
Yeah, good job of getting out there alive. You don't want to bleed players. They've been doing that a lot. And that's to say that slow motion build looks like he's in a position where he wants to bleed even more. But he actually does manage to get out as well. Doesn't just run into players. Gold is in a good position to jump in. Dave is running behind again. Oh, Dave is just on the medic. Gets the Uber Force out, and they've lost 2. This has gone so well for MedDiv. Look at this, medic is under 0 pressure, and they got the Uber Force out, and they got 2 players down, only at the cost of 1. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was a really well lofted bomb from Slow-Mo Milk, but he just got completely shattered out of the sky by the scouts of MedDiv here, and now they're in a position again to close out the game. 2 players down from Ado, but they are about to spawn potentially into Eddie and his combo, so they've really got to hope they can convert these frags nice and quickly, as there's no stickies on point. Health not looking too good from MedDiv, and the frags just not quite going over the line. This could be potentially disastrous as Ado lose their medic. It's going to be a 4 versus 3. And MedDiv, they've got to try and keep rolling with this. Surely, they've got the health, they've got the spawners.
They're so slow that there's going to be a respawner coming in now. Oh, and then Eddie goes down. Well, now
Bolts
they're
onto
just
the
fully
stickies.
committed, right? Take down the demo man. That's good. There's a heavy to deal with. Oh, but is he gonna get taken out? He is. But oh, it's just a little bit too little, too late. And they just backed out, and they were like, wait. And then they pressed tab, and they realized they had a big advantage, and then they were too slow to get in there, and respawners managed to come in time. So a bit of a precarious situation there, where it didn't work out. But there's a back cap again.
Oh
Didn't
my
work in time.
god. Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is like MedDiff is like they're trying so desperately to get these frags that they're chasing all the way back to the spawn doors and just completely neglecting point. So then both are not able to get those frags, and they're also not able to cap the point, and then they just get just completely fucked up by the spawners coming out of the enemy team there. So AO rolling this momentum forward. It's a pretty equal looper situation, so interesting that MedDiff give it up so easily there, and they're just quite contented with being sat on their second.
Indeed. Looks like they want to push down through lower here. Ubers are pretty much even. Actually, Gold is in. Okay, he could have actually dropped down to Samael right before he got the Uber. I just had to say that it was even, right? And Samael, yeah. Now he does have the Uber. They have the man advantage. They can actually bomb soldiers in with the, not impunity, but they have a very long time to do it. And actually, no one's watching lower, really. Like, Soda could get in so deep, but unfortunately, Gagos just kind of decided to spend all his rockets just shooting up. But hey, it worked out eventually, as these soda bombs are doing so much work, and Eddie's going to pop first.
Yeah, Ado take a really decent chunk of space, but have sacrificed a lot of health from it here, so it's going to be a bit of a scrappy team fight in the post here, as both their scouts just trying to stack onto point, but no real position gained for them as they're just chilling with their medic in alley, and it's going to be another refight. They're not keen to give this up just yet. They've really got to focus fire, but it doesn't look like they're quite able to do it.
Ooh, good rocket from Gold. Hits the second scout there. I think that's going to be that for that fight. The respawners are coming in. Samuel's going to have to run away with Sax there, so they're going to reset, see what's up, make sure you hold all the doors. You don't want to get just counter-bombed again. Actually, Gagos is in. He found an opening. Oh, he beams those rockets, though. That's unfortunate. Nice try, though. He got a really good peek in.
Oh, we're seeing a second bomb in from Slow-Mo Milk. Hits one rocket on the medic again, but unfortunately two splash rockets, not quite enough to kill a medic, particularly when he's surrounded by his most bestest friends in the combo. So, see MedDiff with that player advantage are just going to try and take this middle point. It's going to be nigh on free, as there is no potential for sacks here from Ado as they sort of back up onto their own second once more. And MedDiff just sort of want to be the ones to instigate this, want to be the ones to initiate, try and make a little bit of space, make it uncomfortable for Ado to hold this, and hopefully roll this momentum as far as they want it.
Yeah, Samuel is holding pretty far forward, so that usually means you can't get bombed. Actually, Gagos has bombed in.
Oh.
Gets the Uber Force out.
Oh!
No.
Didn't he? Oh, I was expecting to see about 8 rockets flying in the air trying to headshot that soldier then.
I know. Like, when Milk is in the sky like that, you gotta 48 air shot him, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta go for it. They
She
decide
was
not
like
to, but they're gonna Uber in a scout here. They've been bounced around quite a bit. Ooh, these stickies from Sibab Swap is so good. And just bouncing everything around, slowing it down. That was really nice. No real damage done with that Uber onto Eddie or the demo man at all, so now it's actually back to being an Uber ad here for MedDiff, and this is the kind of that the seesaw situation where one team keeps having the Uber advantage over the other, and then they try to get them out.
But they don't seem to care. MedDiff are holding, and Ado just waddled in through under, just managing to trade off a huge amount of damage. It looks like they didn't quite expect it at all, and a bit of chaos has been ensued, but Ado ultimately not coming good. But sort of just scrabbling in this under. They're never able to get any sort of high ground, and always in the post fight, it always seems to sour for them. As Steven,
Eddie picks up the Medigun. That's really smart.
Not bad. I'll take that 45% any day. Still 5 seconds left on Samael's spawn as well. So MedDiff in a really good position for this momentum, as well as their spawn is now coming up. They're going to be able to get these forwards. Ado are going to have a little something to say about it. It's Eddie eats 2 directs from Slow Motion Milk all the way back in dirt. And we're just going to have to see how it goes.
He just has to move forward, man. Like, you have that much Uber ad, you want to go forward. I don't care if you're weak. You just got to go. And he has made it forward. He's fully healthy now, but they're so slow to make use of this. If they just run through lower or left or anywhere really. Like they could get in so deep, but they're sending in a soldier again, which is super weird when you have Uber but hey, slow motion milk will go down. Gold somehow still hasn't died, so he just built. Sorry, he didn't build, but he just got so much space for his team. And now they're going to come in here to last, but now it's a bit too late. Very aggressive push in here. Oh, Samael, okay, holds on.
Oh, he nearly drops to a stick pipe
did.
there as well. That was pretty tight, but manages to get it popped off. Natty going down to Steven. It's going to be a 5v5 yet. Another refight potentially, but MedDiff are just so far back here, and they do not want to take any risks, interestingly enough.
Yeah, they're completely comfortable just sitting here. So, I kind of wonder where we're going to see. I don't know, all these question marks. It's like, is this just the shit talk meta?
I don't even know, because surely... I mean, I don't think either team really knows what's going on. I think it might be their own confusion rather than BM at sometimes, but... you know, seemingly sporadic. But if you have a little look at the chat logs after the game, I think it's going to be a lot of single-digit messages there. So we do see Uber up now from MedDiff. I don't think they've identified their Uber advantage, so they're just going to sort of just chill, just try and do a little bit of something about Ado's defense here. They've got the level 3 sentry gun up, and they've also got Yaks on the sniper.
Yeah, sniper on both sides. About to open the door here. I think Scout's about to open it. Yeah, it's getting a good look, but no one's really in sight. The demo man needs to just spare me.
Zax, no, he had 2 shots. The shutter was open the whole time. The sniper got 2 shots off. You cannot let that happen. That was embarrassing. Eddie drops full Uber advantage to Ado, and they're going to look to get out of this last pretty rapid, quick, you would hope, supposing that Natty still on this sniper is not going to make this the easiest defense for MedDiff. But Dave going down also not going to help, but they're being really slow with this. They're just sort of picking players off one at a time, and they're so fearful of this sniper that they actually pop all the way back in lobby to no one.
Yeah. Is it the enemy at the gates where the guy peeks up, so... Or is that the one where there's 2 sniper duels and one peeks up so one gets shots and the other one can shoot the sniper? Or is that another movie?
I could not even begin the comment.
Alright.
But we do see now Ado converting that midpoint. Again, a pretty tight Uber situation. But it looks like they want to be pretty proactive with it. They send a slow-mo milk in with a high bomb here. There's a lot of damage on that bridge, but not a lot of external pressures as Ado just sort of waddle their way up onto point. But 2 players down. Steven caught in the muck, and Samael flanked by 2 players. A complete disassembly of that aggression there from Ado. It was risky, and it really did not even begin to pay off there.
Oh, okay, goes with a nice bomb though. Gets some good rockets in. Unfortunately for him, lots of players standing in between him and the medic, and he only manages to weave in 1 rocket onto him. So, not even Gagos can save the medic, and it's just going to be another train wreck. Another freight train of an Uber just about to barrel down the throat here. Everyone just running in.
What's your Uber frag prediction here? I'm going to guess 1.
Alright, I'm going to guess 3. Because I'm very optimistic.
Oh. Nope, they're all the way on the back of last.
Alright, you win this one. Well done.
But yeah, so MedDiff, in using their Uber charge, so sort of loose-handedly, managed to pick up a frag and of course convert that second capture. But again, now they're at a disadvantage, and it's really interesting. They just keep going in for these really sort of ostentatious plays. Every single time they cap a point, regardless of what the other factors are, and the double one seems to work. He managed to shoot about 5 rockets on that last. He was just stood on the low ground, just shooting rockets at the medic, and he was just being completely ignored.
Yeah, give this man 5 rockets and he will kill your medic. There you go.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. I couldn't do that. But alright, we've got a full Uber now for Eddie. They're going to make it in here. They just need to not drop. There's not even a sniper for them to worry about. They don't know that, obviously, but it's only sticky traps right now that can really drop anyone before they go in, is my point.
Yeah, but I think somehow we're going to see quite an early Uber again. They're coming out banana. Uber was held just a little bit, but not quite enough. The sentry gun is being built. Again, that point is completely open, and they've not even thought about playing it yet. It just comes in so late. The Uber fades, and then they start playing point. You can't do that. You got to take the space that the Uber charge makes for you. managing to convert a few decent frags here. It's a 4v2. Zach's super duper weak, and again, nobody's prepared to throw themselves on the point for these stickies, and eventually does come over the line, but could have been a lot cleaner for MedDiff.
Yeah, they're so slow to get onto that point, as you said. So it just ends up looking really ugly, where they just go very slowly and scatterbrain. Like, you didn't see everyone go onto the point. Oh, we've got a... No, wait. Oh my, I thought they were talking trash in server, but that's actually the STV. I was so excited.
Wait until after map 2. That's when it gets serious.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, we are rolling into our 4th mid-fight MedDiff at a round advantage now. A super high bomb coming in from 3 players from Ado, but they're not able to convert any frags whatsoever, and losing Samael, definitely not quite what they want. We've got Yacht just trying to do what he can, but he's not getting anywhere near Eddie here, and we're going to see a very similar situation to what we've seen elsewhere. And the aggression from Ado, as wonderful as it is to see, not quite working out, as Eddie manages to pick up perhaps a bit of a revenge frag on Yacht there.
They wanted to melee it. They're going to have to do that at some other time when it works out, but yeah. We all love to see that. Alright, there's no stickies forward yet. There's just a single soldier just trying to spam it out. Slow motion milk, making as much of a presence as he can, make it look like he has. Hey, it slowed them down a little bit. I like this kind of posturing for people. And you see it just kind of slowed them down, so now when they push in on last, it's going to be kind of borderline whether or not they can push in time to get onto him before somebody can get the Uber.
Yeah, so there's 7 minutes remaining. Ado on their own last. Of course, they are a map down already, so MedDiff definitely in a position to potentially close out this not only this round, but also this map and this season. So we'll see. Again, they're just going to try and pile in, try and get what they can. 2 players left alive from Ado, one of them so far away from the point, but again, they're just so contented with just taking these team fights rather than just playing the point. Look, it's just completely open this entire time, and it's taken them so long. The spawners coming up from Ado, and they're able to make something happen. Oh, but he's so split away from the rest of his team as well. They've got a lot of spawners coming out, so could potentially win this in the post fight. But yeah, just really scrappy.
Yeah, indeed. Eddie getting out though is really big. He just needs to not overextend and get caught out here when this inevitable push comes in. Not Steven going down. That's going to help a lot. Yacht also pays with his life. All of a sudden, we might just be looking at another counter push here. They could also just wait for the Uber. Kind of looks like that's what Eddie's yelling about. Natty Newt didn't get the memo though. He's going to go in there and die. So no scouts being able to be there in this Uber is very, very bad. Like, that's annoying, right?
It's fine. They won't be able to play the cap anyway, so we'll be in the same position regardless. But Ado now pretty close to this Uber, 20% away. But they're going to have to be reasonably proactive here. They can't allow MedDiff to sort of sit around it and do nothing for the rest of this game. So a pretty aggro Uber from MedDiff. Again, they managed to get these frags. Again, point very much open. There is a single stick on it. The Uber trade finally coming out. Not a lot of pressure elsewhere. MedDiff failing to take any position whatsoever and just get picked off by these super duper weak players from Ado. And it is yet another failed push, but MedDiff shouldn't be too bothered with that. 5 minutes left, 1 round up. So long as they keep their medic alive and they just keep rolling with these equal Ubers, they should be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's another push out here. Kagos has gone down. Nice surf there from Eddie. Eddie has some really good surf this game, and that's another failed push out here, and we might see some pressure coming back the other way. There's a sniper, though.
Yeah, again, we just touched on just how much that MedDiff could potentially slow this game down. Natinu is on bridge. He's just opening shutter for free. They've actually got a player on the cap. There are no real external pressures. Natinu goes down. This is... I would describe that play as interesting. It looks like they lost their medic and just thought, guys, let's just go for it. And they just sort of YOLO'd.
It didn't work out.
Didn't quite work out.
Oh, Demo's going to die as well. Oh, he didn't get chased down. He's lucky. He shouldn't be alive there, but Sip Up Swap, he lives to tell the tales and live another day. But there's still an Uber barreling down them. And they need to be very careful here because we've seen these Demo, like not Steven, he will jump in and just try to go for that medic.
We see a high bomb coming out from Gold. Oh no, he beefs 3 rockets. Oh no. Those are one of the things you hate to see. as it buys just enough time for MedDiff to get out. No force coming out from Ado as they lock out that midpoint, and they just want to keep this momentum rolling forward. A super duper early Uber charge, don't manage to catch the tail of Eddie as he backs up to last. You got two players caught in from MedDiff potentially here, but they haven't been spotted. Hitting a couple nice rockets, but ultimately not enough as Zax managed to pick up a nice 3k there. And Ado staring down the barrels of this last. We could have a little bit of a game on our hands as they roll this momentum forward, but the Uber eventually coming out of MedDiff. And they just want to try and convert as many of these frags as possible. They got to be careful about back cappers though.
Yeah, if they go too far forward, they will just get repushed and back cap. They have to go back immediately, and they have done that. And respawners have also come in, so now I think they've weathered the storm good.
Yeah, it looks like it, but in all the scrappage, there is a sort of remnant of coordination at times, but Samael looks like he wants to be the ones to play the point. He's getting a little bit fed up, potentially. Steven managing to pick up a nice sword kill as well. Again, just try to pick up as many players as they can. Zax managing to get Steven surprisingly staying alive as well, but does get picked off once again by Eddie. These arrows. Formidable beater.
I don't know how many kills he's gotten with these arrows so far.
I think it's 4 now, and it's all on scouts as well.
That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. It's just these puny little scouts that's being taken down. It's okay. It's not a crit squeak. It's just a festive Uber one. But okay, Natty dude he's on spy, just checking things. I guess they don't want to push out here. That makes sense. It's only 2 minutes. You just hold this right and hope for the best. I'm kind of wondering how can you speed up the game here if you're Ado? Like, how do you even do that?
There's a couple approaches, right? So you can do like some sort of like soft pushes, and like obviously which have a lesser chance of working, but you sort of manage to keep your med alive and manage to keep a hold a second, or you just go balls to the wall, risk it all for the biscuit, and just try and just punish them as best you can. But the quadruple sack has not quite worked out in their favor.
Hey, I applaud their attempt at doing this, right? Like, maybe it's gonna cause them to push out. It looks like there's still I don't know, this is kind of weird because there's still an NG and a Pyro on last. So maybe they're just gonna cap this and they just leave and go back to last. I'm not even sure. Oh, there's actually a Uber coming out.
Yeah, it's a pretty funky one. They've got the engineer moving the gun forward as well. But Ado look like they're going to try and flip this cap the other way. They've got a gun waiting in the right side of the lobby, and they want to Uber trade. Again, they're just trying to take down this last 50 seconds of the map. Samael so painfully weak. Ado 3 players down, and with 6 players up from MedDiff, I think they're just going to be pretty keen to lock this out. But that was a really weird last push from Ado there. Like, they committed 4 players, and the result was the same as if they had just like send their Uber in and traded it. So a bit of a blunder from them as they're trying to scrabble in the last 20 seconds, but I'm afraid it's impossible at this point.
There's a sentry gun in there as well. These poor soldiers jumping into sentry guns. Oh man, this is peak TF2 right now. Sack's gonna try and run in behind, gets piped down. Goes can't even get close to the sentry gun. All right, get him, Yacht, get him. It's only 6 players. All right, okay, time ran out. 2-1. That's going to be that. MedDiff, they win both maps, I believe, right? Yeah, they won the first mob as well. So they are your low grand final champions. Congrats.
With a whole round difference of 2 or 3. Actually 3. No, hold my tongue.
Yeah.
But yes, they managed to win the ultimate game of low in this season. So congratulations to them. Shall we have once again, Peter, a little look at these logs before we close this one out?
Yeah, both medics cut down on the Uber drops pretty significantly.
Wow. That's a 60% reduction across the map. That's incredible.
That is very good. Imagine how good they're going to be in a couple of games.
They're never going to drop again after this one, if this is anything to go by.
If I know math and I don't, then they'll never drop again.
But yeah, it looks like definitely a lot more active game. We saw a few more rounds, the damage much higher across the board, as are the kills and deaths. So definitely a lot better to see. A huge 12 air shots from Mercurio as well, and Sabab managed to pick up a 300 DPM. Pretty impressive there. So yeah, nothing jumping out at me too much, but I suppose Eddie halving the deaths of Samael potentially because of the risks had to take it sort of the latter part of that second map there. But I think that might just be about it for that one.
Yeah, Eddie's just the difference there, right? It's the medic difference. That's
Yeah,
the team
exactly.
name.
It is the medic difference.
Faded.
The medic difference in the end was a Merc. So hats off.
It just works out sometimes. It's beautiful. But,
so is there anything else from you, Beta?
Merry Christmas, everyone. There's another Div 2 final right now, but I don't know if we're covering it or not. I'm definitely not gonna. Okay, Dom might be doing it. Yeah, and then of course tomorrow, on the 23rd.
It's the Prem Grand Finals tomorrow. It's Christmas Eve, and you're watching Prem Grand Finals.
It's gonna be great.
Come on, guys! It's Team Fortress 2. Holidays aren't for family. They're for increasing your Steam hours to 120 in the past 2 weeks. So get on it. Get watching the Grands. Get watching the Div 2 finals over on DumTum's channel. This has been the Season 40 Low Grand Final, sponsored by Manco.store. Your winners for this low season are going to be MedDiff. Congratulations to them. Consolation to Ado. Thank you very much to Whitehoof, the unsung hero of production, and Beta for joining me on the microphone. Thank you so much, Beta.
Always a pleasure, Meer.